saw Avengers Infinity War, and it's hard to talk about this film without giving spoilers, so I'll try and talk in as vague terms as I can. Going into this film, there were 3 things that I was concerned about most. I'm a big fan, or a medium-sized fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's okay. It's undoubtedly the best interconnected universe of movies around at the moment. And they make undoubtedly the best superhero films. And if you say otherwise, you're lying. The 3 things I was worried about were Thanos, the mixing of the styles of these different movies, and the number of characters that's in this new movie. In the past, Marvel movies and superhero movies in general have had a tendency towards big grey villains. Prime example, the last Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. He was literally a big grey villain who just wanted to destroy the world because. So I was worried that Thanos would be the same, especially with such a garishly evil plan. But somehow they managed to make him almost sympathetic. And I think that's thanks in no small part to the performance of the actor who I suddenly forget the name of. I'll put it here. He does a fantastic job. Being Thanos, he's tough when he needs to be and not tough when he doesn't need to be tough. But he feels, I don't want to say human, he feels like an actual character, not some unfaltering thing like in, say, Justice League. He has weakness, and you see it throughout the film. And that was my first worry. I was worried that they wouldn't do the villain right, because it's an important villain. It's an important movie. End of Phase 1, allegedly. So that was one of the things I was worried about, checked off my list. Second thing I was worried about was the mixing of the styles. Take, say, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Guardians of the Galaxy. These are 3 films with drastically different visual styles. There's no way realistically you can mix those. But somehow they did it. Somehow they mixed all of their styles and managed to make it work. So that's 2 things I was worried about, checked off my list. Third thing I was worried about is characters. There's so many characters, there's no way you're going to give them enough screen time. But somehow they managed again, which was shocking. I wasn't expecting much for this film because of the history the Marvel movies have, especially Avengers movies. This film, I think, takes it a step beyond because it's a genuinely good movie. Some of the visuals are stunning. There are a couple of scenes that are way too short, in my opinion, where Thanos is in these almost dream realms. They're very simplistic, but there's nothing wrong with that. There were a couple of things that annoyed me, like Tony has his new suit, but it's essentially just Black Panther's suit now, and also he has a bunch of things that he just doesn't use when he could. Namely, those giant laser beam things that he has come out of his back. That's on this poster, right there. There are 1,000 times he could have used those, but he only uses them once in the whole movie, at the beginning. I'm going to give this my rating, and then we're going to move into spoiler talk. I would give this a strong green star. I don't think this film is physically capable of getting a gold star due to the fact that if you don't know any of the other Marvel movies, then this film, you're going to be completely lost. I'm tentatively going to say that it's the best Avengers movie to date. But that's tentative, because I might just be riding off the high emotions from having seen it an hour ago. So now we're moving into spoiler talk. So if you haven't seen the movie, get out and go and watch it. Unless you're not going to watch it at all and you don't care about Marvel, you just hear from me. Right? Yeah? Call me. It's hard to talk about this movie without mentioning spoilers. I've already said that, but I'm saying it again. Because things happen from the beginning of this movie onwards. Things that are huge spoilers. And now this is spoiler talk, so everyone who's going to watch the movie has watched it. If you haven't watched the movie and I want you to, get out now. I don't care what your excuse is. Leave. Okay, now that they're gone. The first major death of this film, Loki, didn't hit me that hard because he's died like 3 times already. And then they say, you're not coming back from this one. And I was like, oh, maybe he's not. And then they killed Heimdall. I liked Heimdall a lot. And then no one dies for the rest of the movie. And everyone's happy. And at the end of the movie, Thanos is killed and everyone's happy at the end. And it's a super ballsy ending. But the problem with it is that they've set up this precedent. And I feel like everyone's just going to come back in the next movie. They're going to find some way to bring everyone back. Especially after that post-credit sequence where Miss Marvel. And I feel like Miss Marvel's going to find some way to bring everyone back. See, I'm torn. Because whilst there are so many characters I don't want to be dead, I don't want them to go back on it. They have made their bed and they should lie in it. And this is a hefty setup for Phase 2. This is powerful. Everyone in the universe, half of all life in the universe, gone. Can't remember what happened to Bruce Banner. He was in the Hulkbuster suit. And then he got trapped in the rock face. And I don't remember seeing him again. That ending, man. Fantastically done as well with the complete silence, lack of soundtrack. And just the sound effects. That was powerful. That was a good decision, especially because Marvel tend to overdo their soundtracks. And then just very generic soundtracks. What a movie. How's Tony Stark and Nebula going to get off that planet? It's not like the Guardians could come save them. There are no Guardians. A couple of issues with timing. Like the first scene, the entire Asgardian race being murdered. And then it cuts to, if I remember correctly, some kind of joke. Maxim Batty describes it well when he says it's like a gut punch and then it tickles you, and then a gut punch and then it tickles you, and then a gut punch and then it rubs it in, and then it asks you if you like that, and then it punches you in the back of the skull. Thanos will return, that's what it said. What a movie. I didn't expect it to go as far as it did. And I love that. That is fantastic. And if anyone complains about this movie, they're going to reconsider some things. They're either... If people complain about this being too different from other Marvel movies, then that's stupid, obviously. I love... They've got to take risks. Taking risks is a good thing. If people complain about this just because it's a Marvel movie and they say, oh, it's just another Marvel movie, I will also have something to say about that, because it's not. It clearly is trying to take into account all the things that we as viewers have said we don't like about these films. Not all the things, actually, to be fair. But they're clearly trying to take into account a lot of the things that we as viewers have been complaining about. I'd say this film captures that almost too well. But that's all I have to say about this movie for now. I might say more on Twitter. The moment I got out, in fact, before I even got out of cinema, as the credits were rolling, I wanted to put something on Twitter. But all I could bring myself to say was, that I watched the movie.
One thing I want to add really quick is that the reason this is a hefty introduction for Phase 2 is because it is so different from the typical Marvel formula, mostly because this time the villain wins. That's different from any traditional story, really. The good guys lose, the bad guy wins. It even blurs some of the lines between who's the good guys and who's the bad guys in some ways.
I'm a big nerd, so I like Marvel movies, and this is definitely one of the better ones. And I'd say, even if you haven't liked Marvel movies and Avengers movies especially, this one might fix a lot of the problems you had with them. Maybe give it a watch. I give it a strong green. Adios. I didn't release a review last week because I didn't have much to say. I like to record half an hour of footage and then edit it down to 10 minutes and then release a half an hour version. But the film I watched last week, Ghost Stories, didn't have much to say. There was just nothing to say about it. So I just didn't. I'll put the uncut version in the description of this video.
Some people call me the space cowboy. Wild West, desperado, rough rider. No, you don't want nada. There's 6 gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo, no.